diabetes.
Sure.
And we just think it's important, basically.
It is.
It really is. Just if you don't mind, as we get started, just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm 62 years old. We moved to Savannah from Tallahassee in 2006. I got transferred here by the company I work for. Spent 47 years in the restaurant business, and was originally diagnosed as a diabetic in 1996, 97. Didn't always follow what I should have. Thought I knew more than anybody else. My dad told me when I first got diagnosed, he was a diabetic also, that the doctor had told me I was a borderline diabetic. And he said, son, there's no such thing as a borderline diabetic. Well, I really attacked it really hard. Did what the doctor said, lost a bunch of weight. Everything was going great. So I didn't think I needed the medicine anymore or anything. And 2008, I started losing parts of my body.
Sure, that had to be pretty tough for you.
Yeah, you know, had calluses on my feet, and the job I was working required a lot of road time, and it was in a restaurant business. I oversaw a group of restaurants in Savannah, Brunswick, an area, and had went to an area manager's meeting, and got there that night and took a shower and stepped out and saw spots on the rug, you know, the towel thing when I stepped out of the shower. So I looked at my foot and the calluses had broke open. So I came back home on Tuesday and I called my podiatrist on Wednesday. I mean, I was going to a foot doctor and stuff. And I really didn't emphasize the point. He had a new receptionist and she told me that he couldn't see me until the following Tuesday because he was booked up. By the time Tuesday rolled around and I got to his office, my two middle toes on my right foot were solid black. And so I went into the hospital and they cut the first toe and the bone behind it off. Well, you would have thought that woke me up, but I tried to do better, and that was in April of 2008. By Christmas that year, I'd had 2 more surgeries and lost the front half of my right foot. Also had lost the bone in the big toe of my right foot and the bone behind it. Due to the diabetes, healing is slow and sometimes encumbered, and because of that I had another operation in 2009, and then at Thanksgiving my mom was here and I took her over to Claxton because she wanted to go to the fruit cake company. Born in Georgia, always lived here, always ate it, but never been to the factory. So I took her to the factory and we came home that afternoon and I was getting a shower that night and I noticed a brown spot on the bottom of my left foot. And so I went to doctor on Monday and they decided, couldn't draw any fluid out of it or anything, decided to do an MRI. So they did the MRI right after the holidays, right after Christmas, and he told me I was going to go in a hospital, and that was on the 27th. And my surgeon walked in and said, "We're going to take your leg." And that was hard. But things have gotten better. I still fight with my right foot a little bit. I am working on getting my sugar under control. Sometimes I do real good, sometimes I don't. The thing of it is I'm able to get around, I'm able to move. I'm now a peer visitor at the hospitals. I go in and see new amputees, whether they're diabetics or through accidents. There's a group of us here in Savannah that do that. Ron Miller kind of heads us up. The There's a place online called empoweringamputees.com, which is an excellent source for anybody who has this happen to them, whether they're diabetic or due to accident. It's a group that is governed by amputees. It is a access group that you go in and request to join. So it's not just where people can go in and look at it, but there's a lot of individual pictures and motivations and stuff people have gone through that can relate to other people. I drive, I get around good. I have 2 great-granddaughters that I can still mess with, so I'm okay with that.
Well, let me ask you this. When you look back, is there anything you look back on and say, I could have done this differently, I could have avoided this situation?
Yeah, probably the 2 biggest things I could have done was, and you can see I'm still no little person, okay? It's very hard with all the medicines you take to control or lose your weight, and I've actually been doing good. But I could have watched what I ate more. The hamburgers and being in the restaurant business, grabbing food when you are hungry and eating instead of watching what you eat. I could have controlled my diabetes better. My dad was a diabetic. He lived to be 82 years old. He never lost anything. My grandmother was a diabetic, his mom, and in her 80s she lost her foot. But had I paid more attention to the doctors, had I paid more attention to, you know, you're doing good, so you stop checking your sugar. You go out with your friends and you have that extra hamburger or that nice big dinner that you don't really care about, or somebody comes by and they have cake and stuff and you eat it. Well, there's things you can eat besides of it. This is not worth that piece of cake. This is me neglecting my own self. So had I been more, had I even when I talked to the doctor when I came back, when I called that receptionist, I would have said, hey, I'm a diabetic. I need to see the doctor today or tomorrow. And believe me, he told me that. He said, why didn't you tell her? I said, because, I mean, no, you've got to take care of yourself. The doctors, the nurses, anybody can tell you what they want to tell you. But if you don't take care of yourself and you don't take control, this is what you got to look forward to. I miss fishing.
I was going to ask you, what are some of the things that you miss? I'm sure you have so many fond memories.
Now, that's not saying you can't go fishing, right. Okay? I don't trust myself getting in and out of a boat. My walking, my stride over the 2 years has gotten better. When I first lost my leg, my wife could have used my stump holder as a potted plant. I've gone down 96, 97 layers of socks. My leg is shrunk, which is a natural thing. So that progression to get to this point as your leg shrinks, as things change in your body, changes. There are people today who are in motorcycle clubs, who are in bass fishing clubs, who play tennis, who run in the paralegal or the Paralympics. Only your own limitations will limit you to what you can do. So what I can't do now, I can't do because I haven't overcome that. Hoping to get a new foot here before long that will imitate a real ankle. Then I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable about walking a fish bank, walking up and down the hill. Because the off-limit surface is a little different. But there are things that you just never limit. Things you don't expect. Driving, the first time I got back in the truck to drive was unbelievable. First steps, I took them into a lake. It was like being born again.
What are you most grateful for? I know you have a strong wife here to support you.
My wife, my friends, the health I have, the fact that I have grandkids and I can still see them. You know, people are sometimes afraid of this. and they don't want to do it. The alternative was really bad. You know, when they tell you they're going to take something or you fix to lose your life, to still be alive, it's a great thing. If I could go back and do things differently, God, yes, I would. But the little things, the getting out and running with the dogs in the backyard or taking long walks with the wife, it's getting better, and I get around better, but it takes time.
What is your greatest fear? You've been through so much.
Besides losing my other leg, being by myself somewhere and falling and can't get up.
But it's not going to come to that.
No. But that probably is. That probably is. But I learned to appreciate a lot more in life. If you look outside my window, I'm watching hummingbirds. And before I worked 80 hours a week, I never had time for stuff like that. But I enjoy every bit of it now. I really, really do.
So how many hours would you say a week you spend a lot of time driving, but also a lot of time on your feet?
Yeah, it goes in stints. Now, I try to wear my leg the majority of the day, but, you know, it's like you. If I'm out, let's say we go to Walmart or we go someplace like that, when I come home, I'm ready to sit down. I'm tired. Now, I know people that work 8-hour day jobs, and they're not standing all the time, but that is something just building up muscles in your body do. Then you have to start all over again. You have to learn to walk again. You have to learn to take care of yourself again. Normal things. Putting on a pair of pants is a trip, okay? If you ever look at people that are amputees and they wear shorts, you know why? Because it's easy.
Yeah.
When I put on a pair of long pants, I have to put my leg in my pants and put my pants on the ground. I put my leg in my leg and pull my pants up and go. The leg changes shape during the day. You always carry 1 or 2 extra socks with you, so that as your leg shrinks during walking during the day, you can add a sock to make it stay comfortable. And right now I've got on the neatest thing in the world. I've got on, I know Dolphin Tales just come out a while back, right?
I saw that movie.
Okay. So if you look down here and you see this right here, this is the actual skin that they finally made for the dolphin. So that, and in fact, on the back side, it's got a dolphin on it. But this I got through, and I can say Hanger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got through Hanger Prosthetics. And this is the actual skin liner that's used on the dolphins. And it is the best liner that I have ever worn out of 4 different liners I've gone through. And yes, I am a Seminole fan for everybody out there. Go Noles. Yeah, so I'm very happy.
So, for instance, today, how are you feeling? And I'm just wondering.
Besides being a little nervous about this and it bringing back a little bit of memories, which I apologize for, I'm feeling fine. And I just want to tell people that if it happens to you, whether through disease or accident, your life's not over. It's just beginning a new step.
A new season.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Some new challenges to overcome, and that's a good thing.
But all in all, I'm still wondering about your wife, because that's important, having that caregiver, someone to be
Oh, yeah.
on your side.
Yeah, she could have left me at any time during this process she wanted to. I don't think I could. Well, I'd have never made it through without her. But I don't think I could run her off with a stick, if you know what I mean.
You mentioned to me on the phone also, are you going to start a job at some point? You mentioned.
I went through, there is a company called NTI, the National Telecommunications Institute, which works with rehabilitation and through Social Security. It's a profit-free organization, and they train you to do online work from your home. They work with different companies that, not telemarketing, okay? No, I'm not into telemarketing. I hate that to tear up my dinner hour, my TV hour. But this is, for example, perhaps data entry for the IRS or different catalog companies. Like when you call a catalog company, you call somebody and you order something, that person may be working from their home.
Right.
And we're allowed, even with disability, we're allowed to make a little bit of money, you know, to help supplement our Social Security. But they work very closely with it, and I'm hoping to start work here in the next few weeks.
Very good.
And I'll be a very happy person, because I miss that very much.
It's really, it's shocking because most of us really don't know what a diabetic goes through if he or she may, lose a limb.
Yeah. And just remember that, overweight doesn't help, okay? A history of diabetes in your family is a red flag. If you think you're healthy and your mother, your grandmother, your father, your aunt, your uncle is a diabetic, when you go to the doctor once a year, have them run a hemoglobin A1C. Have them be able to tell you how your sugar's been. If they tell you you're borderline, you're diabetic. Start treating it. Get the weight off. Pay attention to what you eat. There's plenty of stuff out there that you can eat and enjoy that doesn't have to be loaded with sugar. I lived on sweet tea. God, I'm a Georgia boy. Sweet tea is the biggest thing in the world. In a restaurant, 32-ounce glasses, never went without one. Could not stand the taste of a diet drink. If you gave it to me and paid me to drink it. Found out I was a diabetic. Now, unsweet Diet Coke, unsweet tea, mess up. Let me go through a drive-thru, give me a real Coke, and it tastes just as bad as that Diet Coke. You adapt. You learn. Pay attention if you're diabetic. Pay attention to your feet. Every day. Look at them. In 8 days, I went from a broken callus to a lost toe. It's just that important. Take control of your life. Don't expect your doctor to do it. It's one of the few diseases that we can get that our doctors cannot control. Your doctor can tell you what you need to do. Your doctor can give you guidance. The nurses can tell you what you need to do. They can give you guidance. It's up to you to do it. It's up to you to cut out the breads, the starches, and the sweets, to look for alternatives if you like. It's up for you to take your medicine. It's up to you to notify the doctor to take your sugar at least twice a day. And if it starts getting crazy, if you get a cold, if you get sick, it's up to you to notify the doctor that your sugar is not right. Nobody's a telepath. We don't have Star Wars or Star Trek today. So if you think you're close to being a diabetic, if you are a diabetic, pay attention. Take control of your life. If not, your life.
I'm just wondering one last question, one last thing, and I think we all go through this in life. When we're in a situation and it's not the ideal situation for us, we ask, why me? Did you go through that? The why me? And
A little bit. But I went more through, why didn't I pay attention? Why did I let this happen? Because I knew. You hear it all, everywhere you go, you hear diabetic this and diabetic this, and why didn't I pay attention? Why didn't I wake up? Why did it have to happen to make me wake up? Was it worth it? No. Life is not terrible, life is good. But it was better, and it can get better. But I had to get to this point before I realized it. And it's something you shouldn't have to do.